Larry tried to kill me.
Yeah. I was so thoroughly disgusted.
I mean, think about it. Why does it make you special to do what you do?
Packers jumping around. They rush 4. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. Elliott can run inside the 10. Head first. He dives off the 5-yard line. My goodness.
Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
Also Brian Clady and Bob Miller. Third and long 3. Going deep. Oh, he's got Thomas. Goodbye. Touchdown. Here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him 3 to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and sports topics related. I am your host, Bronco Bill. Take 2. I have no idea what happened, man. I have no idea, but I hope everything sounds good now. So, hey, I guess maybe I gave you guys a little tease. I'm not sure, but I have no idea what happened. But I'm glad we're hitting the ground running. And because we are, let's get into last week's game. But before we do, I just want to shout out again to Avatar. Dude, you're always in the house. even when there's technical difficulties, you always seem to come back. That's an awesome thing, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, let's get into it. Broncos Jaguars in London. Now, I'm not sure if anybody knew this before, but the Broncos have been in London before, but they've never won there. Last week was different, and it was different in a lot of ways. They snapped their 4-game losing streak, which is a great thing. And also, more importantly, and before I get into that part, the first half was exactly what we saw in the 4 games that we had lost. And I went, uh-oh, here we go again. Against the team with the same record. They were 2-5, same as us, Jacksonville. And I'm thinking, oh, no, we can't go into our bye with a loss. And then the second half happened. And I'll get into part of why the second half happened after this segment. There was a 98.5-yard drive, an 80-yard drive, and a 75-yard drive that resulted in what? No. Not field goals and not a punt, but touchdowns. So the main reason or the main thing is they did what we expected them to do when we got Russell Wilson. Now, where did the change come from? I'll get into that. And here's what it is. And this is unfortunate. And I don't wish any ill injury or any ill setback to happen to any Broncos player. None whatsoever. Maybe other teams, but no, definitely not Broncos. So on the heels of Denver coming out of the second half, here's what happened in the first half. Lloyd Cushenberry will miss time as Denver center following a groin injury suffered against the Jaguars. Graham Glasgow came in at center and did a wonderful job. Absolutely great job. Does that mean that the change at center was the key main reason why the Broncos had 3 very long scoring drives? I don't know. All I know is things changed when Glasgow came in. And the center position is the most important position on the line. He not only has to snap the ball, he has to get the snap count, but he also sets up blocking schemes on the offensive line. And when he came in, things changed. Now, I'm not, like I said before, I'm not wishing any ill against Cushenberry, none whatsoever. However, I do feel that if a player comes in and is much better, then, I mean, I know the old trend and the old way of doing things is a player doesn't lose his job due to injury. Okay, well, let's look at that for a moment, okay? If you have a significant injury and you're not where you were before, of course you're going to lose your job. But let's say Cushenberry comes back just as strong. Does that mean Glasgow doesn't remain the starter? Well, I say if the Broncos go on a 3-game winning streak after the bye and Glasgow's in there as center and they win those games, then what? Well, that is a very, very interesting question. And I don't know how to answer it because I'm not the GM. I'm not the head coach. I'm not the doctors. I don't know. But I'm just saying that when Glasgow came in, things changed. And that, to me, is a very, very positive way of going into the bye. Absolutely. You don't want to go into bye after losing 5 straight like Jacksonville is. It's not where you want to be. Absolutely not where you want to be. All right. I don't even know if I should bring these comments up, but let me go ahead and say it. Madunga says they can say all they want. It was the football. Let's just go there. It was a football. And then, of course, Glenn chimes in with Mike's therapy is, well, footballs again. How's that? Okay. All right, let's move on. Now, Broncos have signed an outside linebacker. So after the Bradley Chubb trade, and I'll get into that. Apparently my things got messed up, but I'll get into that. After the Bradley Chubb trade to the Dolphins, Denver added Zach McLeod to the practice squad. Now, McLeod was an undrafted free agent who spent time with the Minnesota Vikings in their preseason this past year. Okay, that's great. We can take all the people we can get on a practice squad. Doesn't mean he's not good because the Vikings let him go. Doesn't mean he's not good because he was undrafted. Rod Smith was undrafted, for crying out loud. Come on, man. You don't know. You don't know till they come on your team, and maybe it's a perfect fit. We don't know. But anytime Denver can boast their practice squad and have quality backups, then that's a good thing. That's an absolutely good thing. So, yeah, I welcome him. I don't know much about him, but I welcome him because obviously if he's on the Broncos and George Payton thinks he's worthy of being on the Broncos, then I welcome him. No doubt about it. Okay. Now, let me go back to the London game briefly. With the Broncos win in London against the Jaguars, did that mean that Nathaniel Hackett is going to keep his job for another week? Well, the week he's keeping his job is the bye week. But did that solidify him another week? And here's why I say this. Because obviously with those 3 long drives that the Broncos had, in that game, late in that game, second quarter and third quarter. Excuse me, third quarter and fourth quarter. When they made those drives, something changed. Was it Glasgow? Was it play calling? Was it Hackett giving up some of his play calling to Russell Wilson to say, hey, go make something happen? I don't know. Could be. I'm not sure. What I am sure of is they got the win. And they got it with long, sustained drives that they haven't had all year. I can't remember a single game this year prior to that London game where the Broncos went on drives of that magnitude and scored touchdowns. I don't think there ever was one. And my first thought after Denver won in London is stay there. Don't come home. Why? Seems to work. Why would you come home? Why would you come home and I know it's after a win, so you're not going to have all that backlash of who's on the hot seat and is Russell Wilson washed up and all that stuff. You don't hear that after a win. Well, they've got a bye week, so they're not going to hear it this week either. So Nathaniel Hackett's job is saved for week 9. Well, week 9 for the Broncos game. It's actually week 10. So what does that mean? I don't know. What I am saying, and I will get to it later when I dive into the game that they have, or the 3 games they have coming up after the bye. But it was great to see a change. Absolutely great to see a change. Are you kidding me? After going 4 straight losses, to have this type of offensive output in the second half, sure. The first half wasn't good. Absolutely. Reminded me of the 4 losses we had. And I mentioned that earlier. But a win makes you feel good. A win changes the attitude. A win makes everything wonderful. Everything's coming up roses, so to speak. Well, we're on a bye week, so it's still rosy at this point in time. But we'll find out. Hopefully on Sunday. Ooh, wait a minute. Sunday the 13th? Well, at least it's not Friday the 13th. All right. Let's go to the Bradley Chubb trade. Now, Bradley Chubb was traded to the Miami Dolphins for 2023 first-round draft pick, 2024 fourth-round pick, and running back Chase Edmonds. Denver also tosses in a 2025 fifth-round pick. Now, I'm going to get into this a little bit when I talk about Von Miller and his comments. But I want to touch on this and how it affected me personally as a fan. I don't like to see any Denver Bronco traded from Denver or released or gone or whatever. I don't want to see it. Retired is one thing. That's their own choice. So I give them all the accolades that they want to take when they retire. John Elway retired after winning Super Bowl. Loved it. I didn't want to see him come back and lose. Peyton Manning winning after Super Bowl. Absolutely did not want to see him come back and lose. No chance. And the same goes for Russell Wilson. I want him to win a Super Bowl in Denver and then retire. But when I see guys traded or cut that I really like because they wear the orange and blue, I don't like to see it. But on the flip side, Denver wasn't going to sign him to long term at the end of this year. He was going to walk. And I understand that. I get that. I know it's a business decision. I fully understand that. But my point is this. Okay? Chubb said he wanted to stay in Denver. Who says he wouldn't have taken a hometown discount? Probably not, because he's looking for, a payday, and I understand that. And I get that. But still tough as a fan to see, a player you drafted in the first round gone in 4.5 years. And I know he wasn't as productive as Von Miller was, and he wasn't as productive as Gregory, but when Gregory's healthy and Chubb's on the other end, it's Gregory's going to get double teamed, so Chubb has a more of an advantage. And I know that there's guys to pick it up like Browning and like Cooper. I get that. I know that. But the thing is I don't know. I don't like to see players gone, put it that way. But like I said, flip side, we got a first round pick We got a 4th-round pick a year later, and we also have a running back. So we gained. Absolutely, we gained. But so did Bradley Chubb. And so did Miami Dolphins. So I don't know, when Von Miller was traded, Rams won the Super Bowl. Does that mean that the Miami Dolphins are going to win the Super Bowl? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, you still got the Buffalo Bills that are solid. You got Kansas City that's solid. I don't think so. But I mean, congratulations to Chubb. If that's if that is where he ends up winning a Super Bowl, okay, just not before Denver. How's that? All right. Good. All right. Okay. Speaking of Bradley Chubb, the Dolphins didn't waste any time with him. I mean, he barely hit the ground in his private jet or whoever brought him over there to Miami. As soon as he hit the ground, there was a guy out there saying, sign the contract, sign the contract. Here's a contract. Holy smokes, man. Within hours, after going to the Dolphins, within hours, Chubb was rewarded with a 5-year, $110 million extension per Mike Kliss of News 9 in Denver. Chubb is under contract with Miami through 2027 season. Well, good for him. That's what he wanted. He wanted a payday. He wanted a payday. And before I continue on, I want to bring this up because, Glenn, you brought up a great point. Chubb was great when healthy, but he missed 30% of the games. Well, that's what Miami has now. That's exactly what Miami has now. But if they're willing to pay him 5 years, $110 million, they're hoping they get a healthy, productive Bradley Chubb. And I agree. He was not on the field 100% of the time. But my point was, like I said before, my point is I never like to see any Bronco players go. That's just me. I didn't like to see Rod Smith leave. Or, excuse me, Shannon Sharp leave. Or was it Rod Smith? One of them went to Baltimore. You know what I'm talking about. Shannon Sharp. Yeah. Anyways, I don't like to see players go to another team, period. And then I don't even care if they come back. I mean, I do care if they come back because I want them there, but I don't want them to leave to begin with. Anyways, if Chubb was looking for the money, then great. Good for him. But I know that he said multiple times he wanted to stay in Denver. But he was prepared for it. He probably knew the writing was on the wall that the Broncos weren't going to pay him 5 years, $110 million. That wasn't going to happen. So as tough as it is for me to see him leave, I wish him all the best, except when we play him. Then I don't want him to do well at all. Just like I don't want Von Miller to do well at all against us. Because they're not wearing orange and blue. Plain and simple, period. That's the way I feel. Have all the money you want, buddy. Just don't do well if and when you ever play the Denver Broncos. Okay? That's all I'm saying. All right. Let's see. Glenn, one more time. Glenn, what'd you say? If the entire episode is about Bradley, does that mean Bill is a full Chubb on a Friday night? No, it's not all about Bradley Chubb. Honestly, it's not. But you make a good point because that's what I started out with. Okay. Well, I guess one more time. Glenn, I guess one more time. Von Miller about the Chubb trade. Miller said about Chubb, and I quote, anytime you can get out of a tough situation like that and go to a winning team that needs you to win, it just recharges you. And I'm sure Chubb is feeling that same way. End quote. I don't like that, Miller. I don't like that, Vaughn. I don't like it at all. And I'll tell you why. Because the whole thing is I know Miller was in Denver for 11 and a half years, and it was very emotional for him, and Chubb was only there 4.5 years. I get that as well. But the point is this, to say you're in a tough situation, what does that mean? Tough because he's not on the field all the time? Tough because he doesn't have outside support from Gregory because he's injured? Tough because it's new ownership or they're not winning or whatever it is? I don't know. I just don't like that wording of tough situation. I would have preferred Von Miller to say, hey, he's a great guy. I love playing with him. He's got a great opportunity to go elsewhere And George Payton did him well. He did him well, and he put him on a team that has a winning record. So it's much, much better. But to come out and say tough situation, I kind of don't like that wording towards the Broncos. I mean, yeah, it's been tough. Absolutely, it's been tough. But you don't to me, the wording was wrong. Okay, I understand where he's coming from. It's a business, and he's got Chubb's back and all that. I get that. But they both played on the Broncos, and they both left. And I don't like that wording. Absolutely don't like that wording. And, if you guys feel differently, let me know. Let me know if you feel differently. But I just think it could have been said in a more softer way, more or less harsh. Anyways, all right. Let's go to Patrick Surtain. Now, Patrick Surtain II, do you realize this, guys? Patrick Surtain hasn't allowed a catch in his direction, to a receiver. Obviously, he's a corner, but he hasn't allowed a receiver that he is covering to catch a pass in the last 3 games. What? Wow. But that also begs the question, how many throws are in his direction? Are they 2 or 3 a game? Are they 5 or 6? Well, I dare say I don't think it's 5 or 6, probably more like 2 or 3. But still, what does that tell you? That tells me 2 things. 1, they're not going to throw in his direction, obviously. And 2, that only means that half the field that a person like Justin Simmons has to worry about as being a safety. He doesn't have to worry about covering behind Patrick Surtain because he knows Surtain's not going to allow a catch, or they're not going to throw in his direction. So all the Broncos defense has to worry about is the undercover routes or the routes to the opposite side of Patrick Surtain. But that is amazing. But it goes beyond that. Listen to this. There are talks out there already amongst the sports people that said, should he be considered the defensive player of the year after just 8 games? Whoo, man. I don't know. I mean, Patrick Surtain is an absolutely amazing corner. There is no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. But the thing is, it's only been 8 games this year. Sure, he hasn't allowed a catch that has been thrown to a receiver that he's covering in the last 3 games. But again, what does that mean? Does that mean that he's had 10 passes thrown his way and he's just defended them, or has he only had 2 or 3 thrown that his direction that he has to defend? I don't know, but I'll tell you what. When Patrick Surtain, I've mentioned this before, when he was drafted, I was ecstatic. I was elated. I was ecstatic. I would, people say, oh, you passed up on so-and-so or whatever. I don't care. I felt in my heart and in my heart as a fan that if Patrick Surtain II could be anything close to what his dad was, ironically played for the Miami Dolphins, if he could be anywhere as close to his dad, I knew we had a diamond in the rough. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Go back and watch some of Patrick Surtain Sr. Play in the 70s with the Dolphins. He was amazing. 70s, 80s, 90s, whenever. I mean, he was amazing. I mean, years fly by me like water. I mean, time goes go by fast. So, excuse me, guys, if I don't get the exact decade. But, yeah, I mean, he was amazing. And Patrick Surtain II, in my opinion, is even better. And I don't recall ever a Broncos player as a corner or safety. Well, more or less corner. Yeah, and safety just pretty much is there to protect over top. But I don't recall any other Broncos corner that has been this productive. I mean, 3 straight games. That is absolutely it's worthy. It's worthy of being the defensive player of the year. I'm just not too sure it's worthy after 8 games. But if he keeps this up, and if absolutely keeps this up, it'll be unanimous. And if it's not, it's a travesty because he should be. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Okay. I agree, Glenn. Absolutely agree. PS2 is already better than his dad. Absolutely. Totally agree. And that's what I was saying. If he can keep this up, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be Defensive Player of the Year. And if he's not, then the NFL is rigged and the voters don't like West Coast teams or mountain teams. Plain and simple. I don't care if they don't like West Coast teams. I'm just talking about Broncos. So yeah, it'd be a travesty if that's the case. All right. Now you go to it. Am I missing something here? I thought I had some other pages. I'm missing something. No. Sorry guys, hold on a second. I thought I was missing. Nope. All right, I'm good. Okay. Let's go to a sad note. All right. This is I know this is not a popular team that this person played for, but nonetheless, he was a great, and I do have to acknowledge this. So here it is. Ray Guy, former Raiders Hall of Fame punter Ray Guy has passed away at the age of 72. Ray Guy was the first ever punter taken in the first round by the Raiders in the draft. Well, not only by the Raiders, but by any team in the NFL. Nobody's ever taken a punter in the first round except the Raiders did. He was taken 23rd overall, and there is a reward or a plaque or some type of reward given to the best punter in college football, and it's named, appropriately, the Ray Guy Award. Now, you can say what you want about the Raiders, and this isn't about the Raiders. This is about a guy named Ray Guy, a person who, when he stepped on the field to punt the ball, I watched him in the 70s. My dad was a Raiders fan because he absolutely loved John Madden, and he loved George Blandon, Fred Biletnikoff, and Darryl Lamonic, and all those guys. So now you know I'm dating myself, which is okay because you guys already know I'm the oldest guy on MHRT Networks, so it's okay. So Ray Guy, he could punt it from his own 15-yard line, and you'd still have to have a receiver or a punt returner beyond the 50-yard line. You had to have him at your own 35 because he had that big of a leg. This guy was a legend. He absolutely totally redefined punting. He made punting into an athletic position on the team. The Raiders were a powerhouse in the 70s. And it was primarily because Ray Guy would pin you inside the 5-yard line, 10-yard line. And you have to go 95 yards or 90 yards. And it was dang near impossible against that defense. But when the Broncos beat the Raiders, including Ray Guy on that team, in 1977 to get to that Super Bowl, that was David slaying Goliath at that point in time. But like I said, it's not about the Raiders, but it's about Ray Guy and how he transformed the punting, the special teams in punting. And Ray Guy, you were amazing to watch. As much as I couldn't stand you when you're on the field because I knew that Denver was going to be pinned, I'm absolutely saddened by your passing. You're an amazing punter, amazing contribute to the NFL and the change of how the punting is in today's game. Ray Guy, you will be sorely missed. May you rest in peace. All right. Okay. Let's go into the bye week. Now, the bye week has twofold for me, okay? Now that the trade deadline has come and gone and the Broncos are fresh off of a win, will this bye week rejuvenate the team to continue with wins or regress back to the 4-game losing streak with the upcoming 3 games? Now, I don't know, because usually on a bye week, the players are free to go anywhere, do whatever they want, go to the Bahamas or go to Cancun or wherever they want to go back home. I mean, wherever home is, hang out with family, hang out with friends, do things that they normally would do in the off season. I don't know. But I do want them to come back and be refreshed, be ready to go, take this win, remember what it felt like, duplicate what they have to do, like they did in the Jacksonville game. You can't just go and have a good time for a week and a half, and then come back. Hey, yeah, we got that win. We're cool. All we gotta do is go on the field because we're playing against the Titans. Wait a minute. The Titans are 5-2 prior to this Sunday, but no matter if they lose, they're still got a winning record. So right now they're 5-2. Denver's 3-5. It's not going to be easy going to play the Texans in Tennessee. I mean, Titans. Titans. It's not going to be easy playing them because it's at Tennessee. It's a morning game. It's a 10 o'clock game Pacific time. It's a time change. Oh, by the way, it's more than a time change because the clocks have gone back coming this Sunday. I know the game's not this Sunday, guys. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, though, it's still a time change. So they got to get acclimated to the hour they lose or gain, and then they lose 3 hours going to Tennessee. So it's a mix-up. Do they adjust well? Do they come back as a unit? Do they come back solid? Do they take that win and build on it, or do they regress? And I don't know what direction it's going to be. I have no idea. I hope they don't regress. I hope they take this as a motivation, as they moving forward, but it's not going to be easy. The only two games that I see that could be relatively easy would be after the Titans game. It will be at home against the Raiders. They're 2-5 before this Sunday's game. That's November 20th. Raiders are not doing well at all. But we already lost to the Raiders. So do we make amends? Do we come back with a victory and beat them? Hopefully, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely, we do. Hopefully, yes. I'm not sure because like I said, we already lost to them. But I have confidence that we will beat them, especially at home. Absolutely at home. Then we have the 2-6 Carolina Panthers. No Christian McCaffrey. They have a very, very depleted team, and that should be winnable. But it's at Carolina. Again, another East Coast travel. So we got two East Coast travels sandwiched with the Raiders at home. Those three are not going to be easy because no team in the NFL is easy. I don't care what anybody says. You got to figure in. You got to figure in that any team that steps on the field has a chance to win. Absolutely, they do. They may not have the best chance, but they have a chance. I mean, just go back and look at the games the Broncos lost by 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, overtime. But there's chances there. We just did not take advantage. So my thing is this. Going into the bye, I hope the guys are rested. I hope we get some key players back. Absolutely, we need key players back. We need solid game plan. We need solid focus. We need a drive that takes this last win that snapped the 4-game lose streak, take that and run with it. Because these next 3 games are winnable. Titans will be probably the toughest because of their 5-2 record, followed by the Raiders and the Panthers. All 3 are winnable. We just got to make sure that everybody's on the same page, everybody is focused, and everybody came back energized, ready to go, and with the game plan that will produce wins. Eliminate the mistakes. Again, in London, the Broncos had 12 penalties. Those have to stop. Those are mental things. I mean, sure, they're physical. They're, pass interference is physical stuff, but it starts here. Think. Do not jump off sides. How do you, heaven's name, do you have a delay of game on a punt? Are you serious? Or kickoff, I'm sorry, on a kickoff. Really? Things like that drive me insane. Absolutely. Because what you're doing is you're ruining your chance to have a better outcome. When you're backed up 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards, or you give the other team 5 yards, 10 yards, or 15 yards, what are you doing? That's all you're doing is giving them more opportunity to score, and the defense stays on the field that much longer. Well, thank goodness in the third and fourth quarter of the game last week, the Broncos used and made those long drives and turned them into touchdowns. Finally. And Javonte, I'm sorry. God, I know, guys. Tell me who the running back is. Not Gordon. Lavarius Murray. Why did I say Javonte Williams? Because I hope he comes back next year. Anyways, Latavius Murray running great. And now we have Edmonds. Oh my goodness. I hope it's a 1-2 punch. I know Gordon is going to fight and kick and scream and holler and cry to get on the field, but I sure hope it's primarily Latavius Murray and Chase Edmonds. I mean, after all, Edmonds has he has a week and a half to get ready, so he should learn the game plan pretty quickly. I mean, they could make it vanilla for him easily. But man, do I think and feel that with Latavius Murray as our featured back, our number one back, I feel that he should be and not Gordon. Don't know if it's going to be Gordon. I'm not the head coach, but seems like Gordon usually gets his way when he kicks and screams. So we'll find out. But I have the Broncos beating. Let's see. I have the Broncos beating the Titans a week from this Sunday in Tennessee, 23-20. There you go, guys. I don't know what you guys think, but I say 23-20, Denver against the Titans a week from Sunday. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the like button. Tell your friends. Really, really appreciate it. It does a great deal for the MHRT Network as well as all the shows. Before I get out of here, let me remind you that not this Sunday because it's a bye week, but we will be back on the neighborhood on the 13th of November. The Broncos and Titans, 10 o'clock Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern time. We will be live. The neighborhood that goes live as soon as the game starts. Okay, and then on Monday we have the Cluster Puck. That's with a P, Cluster Puck show. That features Nick and Britt. They go live every Monday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then on Tuesday, we have the 5280 podcast. That features Madungus Creevy, his really good friend, Glenn Hauser, Boggins, and Cam. That goes live every Tuesday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. On Wednesday, we have the Wild Wild West. That features a show, features a show with a fan from every AFC West team, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. That's live every Wednesday, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30. And then on Friday, this show, again, Broncos Breakdown, featuring me, Bronco Bill, goes live every Friday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Until then, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Enjoy the bye week. And let's hope the AFC West teams lose. I'll talk to you next Friday. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.